Good evening. Welcome to our main news broadcast. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. Former First Lady Esther LUNGU fights to keep seized properties, claims witch hunt. UPND questions opposition silence on forfeiture of properties and money. Government secures $51 million to support 9.8 million people affected by drought. In international news, dam collapses in western Kenya, killing at least 45. And in sports news, under-17 coach Kanyamba trims squad ahead of Uganda battle. I will be back with the details shortly after this break.
With this impending drought, it's time we look to alternatives of sustaining our crops. We as ISDP are promoting irrigation and water harvesting as the solution to challenges posed by climate change. Watch our 13-week series as we unfold the solutions for our crops. Catch us every Monday at 20:40 hours, repeats every Tuesday at 19:10.
Thank you so much for staying with us. And now the news in detail. Lusaka Magistrate Trevor Kasanda has ordered prosecutors trailing the alleged criminal case involving former Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo to be present at the next court hearing, as failure to do so will result in the accused discharge. Magistrate Kasanda has also extended the order to the accused to ensure that he avails all his witnesses. This is in a matter in which Mr. Lusambo is slapped with 3 counts of attempting to interfere with witnesses.
2 weeks ago, the Lusaka Magistrate Court cautioned former Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo against missing court proceedings by threatening to proceed with trial whether he is still unwell or not. But Tuesday, tables turned as the Lusaka Magistrate Court warned the state prosecuting the matter to be present during the next hearing or risk discharging the accused against the 3 counts of attempt to interfere with witnesses. In this matter, Mr. Lusambo is facing 3 counts of attempting to interfere with witnesses. In count 1, it is alleged that Mr. Lusambo between February 1st and April 30, 2022 obstructed the due course of justice by preventing Cosmas Kapulachalusa from giving evidence as a witness before a court of law. In count 2 and 3, it is alleged that Mr. Lusambo on the same dates obstructed the due course of justice by preventing Ernest Somani and Mundia Mata from giving evidence as witnesses before a court of law. But when the matter came up Tuesday before Lusaka Magistrate Trevor Kasanda, the state applied for an adjournment after the court failed to present a Lamba-speaking court interpreter for the witness who wants to testify in Lamba. However, before granting the adjournment, Magistrate Kasanda warned the state to be present on 3rd May 2024. Failure to do so will result in discharging the former Lusaka minister. Well, the court extended the warning to the defense to present all their witnesses to make progress in the matter. Defense by Mr. Lusambo continues on 3rd May 2024. Among the cases the former minister faces in other courts are 10 counts of alleged corrupt acquisition of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, among others. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Former First Lady Esther LUNGU denies any wrongdoing during her time in government, but acknowledges complying with authority. Speaking shortly after the court adjourns the matter where she is challenging the forfeiture of her assets, Mrs. LUNGU expressed surprise at being treated differently from other former First Ladies. The Economic and Financial Crimes Court is said to decide on the Director of Public Prosecution's application to forfeit 15 double-story flats belonging to the former First Lady, which the DPP claims to be proceeds of crime. This follows the dismissal of Mrs. Lungu's appeal challenging the forfeiture proceedings. Nelson Zulu reports.
Amen. Amen. We are going to dance to man's tune, but God at last. That there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Former First Lady Esther Lungu has failed to hold on to the brakes and open up to the court of public opinion shortly after the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, High Court Division, adjourned the hearing of the main matter which the former First Lady is challenging the application by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Gilbert Piri, to have the former First Lady's 15 double-story flats forfeited to the state for allegedly being proceeds of crime. The hearing of the main matter followed the decision by the Court of Appeal to dismiss an application by the former First Lady to stay the proceedings in the matter in which the DPP wants to forfeit her 15 double-story flats to the state on 12 April 2024. In the application to stay the proceedings, the former First Lady argued that the DPP does not need to commence other proceedings to determine whether properties are indeed proceeds of crime before he can apply for a non-conviction based forfeiture order. Last year in June, the state applied to the High Court to forfeit some properties deemed to be proceeds of crime allegedly belonging to former First Lady Esther Lungu and former President Edgar Lungu's children Tarsila and Chieso Lungu. The application was under sections 27 and 28 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act No. 19 of 2010, but speaking shortly after the court adjourned the matter for a lunch break, the former First Lady allegedly wondered why she's being treated differently from other former First Ladies.
How many First Ladies are going through or have gone through what I'm going through? God knows. Jehovah is in control.
Earlier, the court admitted a banker to testify on how the bank transactions were made for laying the foundation of the property in question. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has disclosed to have 51 million United States dollars out of the 941 United States dollars needed in mitigating the impacts of the drought the country previously experienced. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, DMMU National Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Pauling says government, through the devised drought response plan, will provide immediate humanitarian assistance to 9.8 million people in 84 districts of the 116 districts adversely affected by the drought. He, however, states that government will firstly provide relief of 728,000 metric tons to the 6.6 million people in urgent need of humanitarian assistance across the 84 districts over a period of 14 months.
Zambia was in the last few months, owing to climate change, a victim of the El Nino-induced drought, which adversely affected key sectors of the country's economy, such as agriculture, livestock, and energy. This unfortunate circumstance saw Republican President Hakainde Hichilema on the 29th of February 2024 declare the drought as a national disaster and state of emergency. This development, which saw 1 million farmers affected, caused the country to seek international aid to cushion the severe impacts on the country's food security. Currently, government is in need of 941 million United States dollars as monetary response to mitigate the impacts of the drought on the nation. The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has today, 30th April 2024, revealed that out of the $941 million, government has already in place $51 million, leaving a deficit of $890 million to meet the required budget. Speaking at a media briefing in Osaka, DMMU National Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Pauling says government, through a devised drought response plan approved in Parliament, will provide humanitarian assistance to 9.8 million people in 84 districts out of the 116 districts adversely affected by the drought. Dr. Pauling, however, states that Out of the 9.8 million people affected, government will provide immediate relief of 728,000 metric tons to the 6.6 million people in urgent need of assistance over a period of 14 months.
The implementation of the drought response plan is based upon two key pillars, the first being immediate humanitarian assistance. And on immediate humanitarian assistance, the target is 84 districts of the 116 districts that were adversely affected by the drought. Of the 84 districts, 9.8 million people are affected. However, the people in need of urgent humanitarian assistance constitute 6.6 million people. So 6.6 million people will be targeted by the government.
He adds that the government is expecting additional support from other stakeholders in sustaining the efforts in combating the effects of the drought.
We also expect that additional support will come in terms of cash transfers. The government strategically undertook drought insurance cover, and from the drought insurance cover we expect the payouts to the GRZ of around 9.9 million, and through WFP replica we expect about 3.3 million United States dollars, giving a total to the country of around just over 13 million United States dollars. The way in which this payout will be implemented will be in form of cash transfers to selected districts for a given period of time, and this begins to knock out some of the urgent attention. And even as the government continues to get support from different stakeholders, including the private sector, will continue to remove the quantity that will be deployed. So 2 weeks ago, for example, we received over 564 bags of mielie meal from the Zambia business.
DMMU further says it will also be on course in ensuring that the response reaches the intended beneficiaries and not in the hands of unscrupulous individuals.
And within the context of the humanitarian response, there are controls in place that the government has put in place to ensure that the targeted relief ends up in the custody of intended beneficiaries. And to end up in the custody of intended beneficiaries, local structures will be made use of. The satellite disaster management committees, working in collaboration with the district disaster management committees and the traditional leaders, working in collaboration with the church, with the non-governmental organizations to ensure that the relief delivery ends up with people who require this relief.
Shanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration Mambo Hamaundu says collaboration between African countries is key in ensuring sustainable development growth in the continent. Speaking during a consultative meeting with a delegation from the Kingdom of Eswatini, Mr. Hamaundu says the ties between Zambia and Eswatini will be strengthened further through this engagement. Meanwhile, Eswatini's Kingdom Minister of Constituencies, Eskumbuzo Dlamini, says the delegation's aim is to compare notes on how Zambia has managed to have a robust local government system.
A delegation from the Kingdom of Eswatini Tuesday morning paid a courtesy visit to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development in Lusaka to have a consultative meeting on the operationalization of Chapter 13 of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Speaking during the meeting, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mambo Hamaundu, says he remains optimistic that the engagement will have positive impact on both countries.
To indicate that we do recognize that as countries we've got shared goals in establishing unified systems of local governance which are meant to enhance governance structures and empower communities. I can see that you probably have your own, we call it CDF in Zambia. This is probably more or less the same, so we'll be very glad to exchange notes and share experiences and see where we can learn from one another to really just enhance our ability as a team to deliver to the community, because I think that is the primary mandate that we all have.
And Eswatini Minister of Constituencies, Skumbuzo Dlamini, says the kingdom has been struggling to have a part of their legislation implemented, with the past 3 attempts not bearing fruits. He says the kingdom saw it fit to compare notes with Zambia, as the two have similar cultural leadership systems. Mr. Dlamini says the country is here to appreciate how the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development runs, as they are trying to blend the rural and urban leadership of their kingdom.
Country where the constitution, which was adopted in 2005, and in the constitution, Chapter 13 of the Constitution directs for an establishment of a single countrywide local government system, which is based, and we have been struggling to pass that legislation. So we have made the 3 attempts to make the legislation come to pass, but unfortunately we have failed. And this time around, we have said no. Not this time around. This time around, we want to make sure that the legislation goes through Parliament and it is passed on common things, which is one is our culture, even the setup, as we have just said, that Zambia is having local authorities, having traditional authorities, and likewise in Eswatini, we're having traditional authorities.
The delegation of Eswatini ministers, secretaries and legal advisors arrived in the country last night and are scheduled to have consultative meetings with various government ministries before they return to Eswatini. Cherish Siwote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has increased the fuel pump prices of petroleum products by 4 kwacha, 44 ngwe for petrol and 82 ngwe for diesel. This means that petrol will now be selling at 35 kwacha, 56 ngwe from 31 kwacha, 12 ngwe, while diesel will be selling at 29 kwacha, 60 ngwe from 28 kwacha, 78 ngwe respectively. ERB Board Chairperson Reynolds Boa says the increment has been necessitated by the increase in the prices of oil on the international market, coupled with the depreciation of the kwacha against the United States dollar. This is according to a statement issued to Camnet News, signed by ERB Board Chairperson Reynolds Boa. The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, says it will start implementing mandatory pre-clearance of commercial goods effective 1st May 2024. ZRA Corporate Communications Manager Oliver Nzala says the implementation is meant to enhance efficiency and improve the turnaround time in clearance and movements of goods at all borders. He adds that communication to the effect that no truck will be allowed into the customs area without documentary evidence showing that goods have already been pre-cleared has already been made to clearing agents, transporters, importers, exporters, and the general public, and as such, all stakeholders are advised to comply with this measure. Mr. Nzala further states that any compromise of this measure will attract punitive measures, including possible seizure of goods.
Effective 1st May, the Zambia Revenue Authority will start implementing the pre-mandatory clearance of commercial goods. Now, this is aimed at enhancing and improving the turnaround time in clearance of goods at all borders. The Zambia Revenue Authority has communicated to clearing agents, transporters, importers, exporters, and the general public that no truck will be allowed into the customs area without documented evidence showing that the goods have been pre-cleared. Now, with the pre-clearance facility, clearing agents or importers simply make a registration using the necessary importation documents with the Zambia Revenue Authority before the goods arrive at the point of entry or exit. Now, once this is done, when the actual goods arrive at the border, what will happen is the mere verification of the goods and ensuring that the declaration which was made is correct. So we are urging all stakeholders to ensure that bills of entry for all imports and exports should be registered and processed on the Skoda World system at least 5 days before their goods arrive at the intended port of entry or exit. Any goods that arrive at the border without a customs pre-clearance declaration or customs declaration, in short, will have to pay a penalty fee of 500 kwacha and 10 ingwe.
Ruling UPND Lusaka Province Chairman Obvious Mwaliteta has questioned the opposition's silence over financial scandals that resulted in the forfeiture of some properties and money. Mr. Mwaliteta alleges that the silence from former President Edgar Lungu and the opposition leaders in the country over the 24 million United States dollars forfeited to the state by former provincial liquidator at Konkola Copper Mines, Milingo Lungu, is worrying. He argues that alleged financial crime in the country should be of concern to any political party. Mr. Mwaliteta has since challenged opposition politicians to comment on the recent financial scandals which resulted in forfeitures.
If Lungu was not aware of the theft and abuse of the public resources, he would have been fuming by now, because his friend has stolen the money, but he has been so quiet. It is no brainer that our colleagues in the opposition in this country shall look the other way when their finance support base is threatened by government actions. Edgar Lungu and his cronies don't exist at the moment to protect the interest of this country, but the interest of theirs, even if it hurts the citizens. The outspoken political leaders such as Edith Nawakwi, Kalaba, and the many others like Sean Tembo, we expected them not to be quiet. Perhaps because they are third-party beneficiaries of the rooted funds under the former president of Edgar Lungu. This is why they are quiet. It's a common knowledge that Edgar Lungu is the grand sponsor of the activities of UCA Alliance. This situation is compromising the very essence of opposition, providing checks and balances while ensuring that public resources are protected. But Zambians are assured by the United Party for National Development government is determined to recover all stolen assets without any exception, because they belong to the Zambian people and they'll be taken to the Zambian people for the Zambian people to continue benefiting on them.
Disability Rights Watch has called on the Ministry of Information and Media to extend its empowerment program beyond providing equipment for John Lane Cooperative. DW Director Wamundila Waliwa is delighted that the government through the ministry has pledged to support your Liwe Cooperative. He says education of youths contribute to raising awareness about persons with disabilities and help erase myths about persons with disabilities. He urged youths in the country to emulate and register their cooperatives so as to have access to various government projects under CDF and the Ministry of Small Scale and Medium Development. On Monday, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Media, Tabo Kawana, visited Yoriwe Cooperative, a group of personnel with disabilities in Lusaka's John Lane compound who have embarked on an initiative to produce films aimed at raising awareness on the challenges faced by persons with disabilities in the country.
Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana pledging to support the youth cooperative comprising persons with disabilities in John Lane in as far as their efforts to produce publicity and awareness raising films. This is a good move because it contributes, one, to the enterprise development of the youths, and then secondly it will contribute to creating awareness on the rights of persons with disability within the community and Zambia. Awareness raising is a very key important issue, especially that if the films they'll be producing will be creating a positive image of what persons with disabilities can do, then that would be a good thing. And then we want to urge all youth with disabilities in the country to emulate this cooperative in John Lang so that they get involved in other enterprises, as they should register their cooperatives or companies so that they benefit from what government is doing on its own is quite expensive. And then when the films are produced, they need to be publicized and published on different media. And then we want these youth to use the cameras and the laptop to their best for the purposes of their enterprise development and for the purposes of supporting other youth with disabilities within the.
We now take our first set of commercials. I will be back with more news after the break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll now continue with more news. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ESTHER in Gwembe District, Southern Province, says it will for the first time use the voter verification device in order to identify the exact location of the details of the voters to quicken the voting process during the LUNGU by-election in the district, slated for 2nd May 2024. District Electoral Officer Mulako Muchu says the post staff have already been trained on how to use the devices.
As residents of Lumbo Ward in Gwembe District in Southern Province are gearing up for the by-election, the Electoral Commission of Zambia is training post staff to equip them with the knowledge and skills on how to conduct the elections slated for 2nd May 2024. Among the skills being imparted on the post staff is the use of the voter verification device, which will be used for the first time in the upcoming by-election. The District Electoral Officer, Maliwa Mucho, explains some of the advantages of using the device.
Basically, this device is just an electronic register. Those of us who have voted before, you understand that when you go to table 1, there is a physical register there. They have to look for your name. Then that's when they can tick to say, no, this person is really in the register. But this time, with the device, you will just get your thumb and put it there. All the details, if you are registered in that ward, are going to appear. And that's the voters register, which is electronic. It will even show on which column and on which page you are in the voter register. So that makes it even easier for us. We do not want to have a long queues just because people are waiting for somebody to look for their names in the book.
The poll staff are ready to use the voter verification device.
We are looking forward to using this device and to see how fast and better the voting process is going to be.
And political stakeholders are eager to witness its first use and outcome.
This is something that has never been used before, but I must be quick to indicate that there is a beginning to everything. We only hope and believe this will be able to help all stakeholders, all political parties in this by-election.
We accept whatever the Electoral Commission is coming with, because this is what is happening. We are living in a new world where people are coming up with electronic things that may make things easier than it was happening before.
Chintu Nangamba reporting.
A 15-year-old grade 4 pupil in Kaoma has dropped off from school after being allegedly impregnated by a 20-year-old man who has denied the pregnancy. Mother to the girl, Melody, pleads for government support to ensure the girl conducts a DNA test once she conceives. Meanwhile, authorities in the area have committed to put in place measures for a self-conducive learning environment.
A 15-year-old grade 4 pupil at a primary school in Kaoma district who has dropped out of school because she's carrying a 7-month-old pregnancy. The girl is alleged to have been impregnated by a 20-year-old man of Mushwara area who has denied the pregnancy. The incident has infuriated the girl's parents, who are seeking for justice by appealing to government and well-wishers to assist in facilitating for a DNA test once the child is born. I caught up with the girl and the parents at the time of signing maternity leave forms at school.
Muna hai, mina ba muso muni tuse niziwe kunjiki mwanaka, njiki mwana hai. Chwe muni tuse mina ba muso. Aka feza kupuluha, niwata kuta kenga kutile kwa skolo.
Wata kulihaka tuseha kute kwa skolo. Wata masaluli utalo kulinyenda itute kwa teni kufuta kulihape zeza musinyasinyeze yo kela mkuteza mulaho. Jolo pili hai fa kele kuta mulaho. Jolo pili hai kutema mulaho. Nilu nakasi bilikelo kuta mulaho.
However, the girl discloses that the two have been in a love affair since grade 3, a situation she regrets.
Nani 7 months. Anika bruha, nibatakuti nikute kwa skolo. Anika feza skolo, nibataku kuyobanesi, niki mistake fera eni ezize.
The school management is devastated but pledges to create a conducive learning environment for the girl once she delivers.
We are putting in place measures of creating a conducive environment for a girl when she comes back to school as per re-entry policy, so that when she comes, the learners should not be bullying her. But we are also going to advise them that they should make her happy. But what is devastating is the age of the child, because it has never happened before. These other girls who get pregnant, they are grown-ups. But for this one, she's the youngest we've ever had.
Mtinta Mbagwe for Zanis in Kaoma District, Western Province.
Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata has urged farmers to practice crop diversification. Mr. Kamalata says farmers in the province should emulate other provinces that grow different crops, including those that are drought resistant, in order to be food secure in drought situations. He said this when he toured water bodies in Luangwa district.
Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata has continued to inspect dams that have been earmarked for rehabilitation in the province. This follows a directive by President Hakainde Hichilema that all water bodies should be identified and rehabilitated so that water can be stored and used for irrigation. He has also encouraged farmers to plant other crops that are drought resistant.
We are asking you, don't depend on maize alone. Zambia kukopa belt kuenda kuja ku northwestern Luapula kuja siwali machabe milisa wamalima tute na vinamu kulimvula na ngumvula kulibe ya jama crops ya tabwandi yamene.
And Lusaka Province Water Development Officer Engineer David Musonda says his team will ensure that the rehabilitation of dams and water streams is perfectly done.
So when we have already existing water, we also improve on the structures so that we harness more water to come up with designs to upgrade this weir.
Meanwhile, Lusaka Province Agriculture Coordinator Pasco Chipasha says the Ministry of Agriculture will embark on a training program for communities on irrigation methods.
Go on the DACO for Rufunsa district with his team to ensure that they can come around here to train farmers in horticulture and also to strengthen the Water Users Association in this area.
And Mankanda Ward Councillor Andrew Tembo in Rufunsa district has thanked the government for considering his district in the rehabilitation of dams.
Really humbled this project around here. Go a long way to sustain the lives of the community around here in Mankanda.
Beatrice Infula reporting for Zanis.
We now take our last break. I will be back with some international stories as well as sports news.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Welcome back, and now in international news, a dam collapsed in western Kenya early Monday, killing at least 45 people, while dozens remain missing after a wall of water swept through houses and cut off a major road, the Interior Ministry has said. The old Kijabe Dam, located in the Mai Maheru area of the Great Rift Valley region that is prone to flash floods, collapsed and water spilled downstream, carrying with it mud, rocks and uprooted trees, police official Stefan Kihuru told the press. Here's a roundup of international news.
A dam collapsed in western Kenya early Monday, killing at least 45, while dozens remain missing after a wall of water swept through houses and cut off a major road.
So nilikamka saa 9 nikabeba watu.
I have made 5 trips in the police van carrying bodies of victims. In the last trip, we took out bodies of 4 children, 2 women and 1 man. The old Kijabe Dam, that is prone to flash floods, collapsed and water spilled downstream, carrying with it mud, rocks and uprooted trees.
Don't dare nature.
Don't dare nature. I have been seeing things that makes me very sad. I see people trying to cross and drive through very violent floods only to end up being swept away, losing their lives and leaving their families in distress. The governor of Nakuru County has been visiting affected areas and told onlookers that they are currently around all the dams and draining the water so that the incident doesn't reoccur. We will make sure we alert and move those of you who are in flood-prone areas to safer spaces. Vehicles were entangled in the debris on one of Kenya's busiest highways, and paramedics treated the injured as waters submerged large areas.
Togo's crucial legislative and regional elections were held peacefully on Monday. Some 4.2 million registered voters were expected to cast a ballot. The Electoral Commission has pledged to unveil trends of preliminary results as they come. This opposition supporter in Lome believes the Union ruling party will not be defeated. I had hoped that while seeing the struggle, the population would have chosen a change. But it's actually the opposite. Voters were electing candidates for 113 parliamentary seats and for the first time filling 179 senatorial positions. The polls come after controversial constitutional reform aiming to scrap presidential elections and give lawmakers the powers to choose the country's leader was passed.
2 lions who were found half-nourished roaming the streets as cubs in Montenegro and Ukraine have been transferred to a sanctuary in South Africa. On April 26, the Global Animal Welfare Organization, FORFEITURE, transferred Nicola and Vasilina from the Netherlands, where they had been in a sanctuary since 2022, to the Lions Rock Sanctuary. Nicola was born in 2021 and was just a cub when she was found wandering around in Montenegro in February 2022. No information was available about its owner. Vasilina, who was also born in 2021, was found roaming the streets in the Kharkiv region of Ukraine in August 2022.
In sports news, Zambia Under-17 women's national team coach Carol Kaneba-Daka has trimmed her squad to 25 players ahead of next month's 2024 Under-17 FIFA Women's World Cup third-round back-to-back qualifiers against Uganda. The exercise comes 10 days after the squad of 35 players, comprising under-15 players who reported to camp in Lusaka to prepare for the back-to-back qualifier matches. Kanyemba told Faz Media that the camp of 35 players was good because it gave competition to the players they had in camp. She says they did not want any player to own the team. Kanyemba is confident the team will work hard in training and get the results needed to secure a fourth-round date against Morocco or Algeria. The first leg will be played on 12th May at Nkoloma Stadium, with a reverse fixture set for 17th May at St. Mary's Stadium in Kitende. That's it for our main news tonight. Here's a recap of the stories making headlines. Former First Lady Esther LUNGU fights to keep seized properties, claims witch hunt. UPND questions opposition's silence on forfeiture of properties and money. Government secures $51 million to support 9.8 million people affected by drought. In international news, dam collapses in Western Kenya, killing at least 45. And in sports news, Under-17 coach Kanyemba trims squad ahead of Uganda battle. We now look at our Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Exodus 23, verse 25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night.